Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. I hope that you are fine. So guys, today we are going to work on another use case, which is the caller ID report. Okay. So guys, without any further ado, let's get started. Okay. So guys, let's understand the process using the flow diagram or the flow chart. Okay. So let me just open the flow chart. Okay. So guys, you can see here the flow chart is present. So guys, in this flow chart, you can see the first step is to read the file with the current date. So guys, in our previous use case, we have seen like how to read the file from the dynamic folder, right? So guys, in this use case, we are going to read the file, which is going to be dynamic. Okay, this means that the file name is not going to be same or static. So guys, let me show you the Excel file so that it will be more clear. Okay, so let me open the folder where the Excel file is present. Let me minimize this. Okay, so guys, you can see here we are having the caller ID, and after caller ID we are having the date. Okay, so you can see 21072023, 20072023. So we are having the date after the caller ID. So this means the file name is not going to be same. Okay, so my task is to read the file data which is present in the current date folder, and then I want to copy the file to my input folder. So you can see my second step is to copy the file to the input folder. So this is my input folder, so I want the file which is the file with the current date should be copied to the input folder. Okay, so this is my input folder and I want the file with the current date should be copied from this path to this folder. Okay, so this is going to be my second step, and after that I want to split the phone number into two different columns. Okay, so if I open the Excel file, then it will be more clear. So let me just do one thing. I will just copy this file from here and I'm going to paste it in my input folder. Okay, so so here you can see the file is copied and pasted here. So let me open this file. So guys, you can see here we are having different columns such as the caller ID, the full name, email ID, phone number, and the date. Okay, so what I want is that I want the code and the phone number to be present in the two different columns. Okay, so for that I need to split the data. Okay, so in order to split the data, I'm going to use the advanced Excel formulas, and we are going to use the modern activities. Okay, in the UiPath, modern Excel activities. So let me do one thing. Let me add a column after the phone number. Okay, so I'm just going to select this column and use Control Shift plus to insert a column. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new column for the code. Okay, so now I want this phone number and the ID code to be splitted in two different columns. Okay, so I'm going to use a formula which is equal to left, and then I'm going to select the cell which is the D2, then comma, then I'm going to find the separator which is the hyphen, and then comma, and then again I'm going to select the cell which is D2 and then -1. Okay, so now this will give me the code. Okay, so if I just press enter, you can see the code which is the 91 is present in the code column. So I'm just going to use the autofill to fill the other remaining rows. Okay, so you can see the code is being plotted in the code column. So now I want the mobile number, okay, in the separate column. So let me do one thing. Let me create one more column. So I'm going to use Control Shift plus, and now I'm going to create a column header as mobile number, and now I'm going to use another formula. Okay, equal to right, and then I'm going to select the cell which is D2 and comma, then I'm going to use the length function to calculate the entire length of D2, and then minus, and then I'm going to use the find to find the separator which is the hyphen minus hyphen, and then I'm going to select the cell which is the D2. Okay, so now this will give me the mobile number without the code. So you can see the mobile number is being plotted for this particular caller ID. So let us plot this for entire column. Okay, so I'm just going to use autofill. So you can see the mobile number is also plotted for each and every caller ID and for each and every person. So after that, what is our last step? Okay, so our last step is to find the day from the date column. Okay, so here you can see here we are having the date column. So I want to know like when this particular person has placed the call. So you can see 12th March 2023. I want to know the day. Okay, so like Saturday or Sunday or Monday. So for in order to calculate the day, I need to use another formula. Okay, so for let me do one thing. Let me create a column here first for the day. Okay, so now I'm going to use the formula equal to text, and then I'm going to use the cell and comma, and then d, and then so now you can see the days plotted for each and every caller ID. So guys, now let's move on with the coding part. Okay, so let me just close this file. I will just delete the file from the input folder. Okay, I'll just click on delete. Okay, so now let's go to the UiPath Studio and let's create a new project. Okay, so now let's wait till the UiPath Studio is loading. So let's wait for some time and then we'll try to create a project and we'll try to automate the process. Okay, so now it's loading. So now let me click on the process. Now let us give some name as the caller ID report. Now I'll just click on create. So now let's wait till the dependencies are loaded. So let's wait for some time. It will take some time to load the dependencies and create the workspace, and then we'll try to automate this process. Okay, so now it's loading. Okay, so now it's loaded properly. So now let's start with the automation. So I will just click on the open main workflow. Okay, so I'll just click here. Okay, so now our first step was to read the file, right? So our first step was to read the file with the current date, right? So for that, we need to initially read all the files which are present in the folder, okay? And then we need to identify like which file is having the current date, okay? So for that, I'm going to use the assign activity, okay? And there I'm going to provide the path. So I'll just go here, I'll just search for assign activity. I'll just drag and drop it here. So now I'm going to create a variable, okay? So control K. The variable name would be str file path. Okay, so here I'm going to provide the path where all the input files are present. Okay, so enter, and here I'm going to, okay, so here I'm going to write the code, which is directory dot get files. Okay, and in the bracket I'm going to provide the path. Okay, so this is the path. Okay, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, inside this. So now, okay, so let me check the path. Okay, so path is proper, and the type of the variable would be array of string. Okay, so since we are not storing a single name, we need to use the array. Okay, so array is a data structure which is mainly used to store the value of similar types inside the array variable. Okay, so I'm going to use array of string. Okay, where is string? Okay, this is string. Okay. I'll just click here. So now the error is gone. Okay, so now I've provided the path, right? So I've provided the path where all the input files are present here. So you can see all the input files are present in this path. So now my next step is to iterate through this files, okay, and find the file which is having the current date. So for that I'm going to use the for each activity. Okay, so I'm going to search for each, and then I'm going to drag and drop it here. So now I'm going to provide the str file path in the list of item, and in the item I'm going to change it to file. Okay, so we want to iterate for each and every file which is present in this particular folder, which is file path. So now inside this I'm going to use a assign activity to get only the file names, okay, which is present in the str file path folder. Okay, so I'm going to create a new variable with the name str file name. Okay, so this variable is of type string, and here I'm going to write the code which is path dot get file name. So if you want, we can get the file name with with the extension or without extension. Okay, so I want the file name with the extension, which is the xlsx. Okay, so I'm going to use this, and in the bracket I'm going to provide the file. Okay, so this item which is the file. So now we have given the file names, right? So now we need to check whether the file is having the current date or not after the caller id. Okay, so let me go here. So for that I'm going to use the if condition. Okay, so if, so now I'm going to drag and drop it here below the assign activity. So now I'm going to write the condition. Okay, so a condition would be str file name dot contains. So we want to check whether the file name contains the current date or not. Inside the contains I'm going to write now dot to string str okay, one second, to string, and inside the bracket I'm going to provide the format, okay, which is dd mn y. Okay, so now if the file name is having the current date, we are going to read only this file, and in the then block we are going to write the conditions, like after reading the file, what is the next step that we want to do? We want to copy the file, right, to the input folder. So now I'm going to use the activity which is the copy file activity to copy the file from this caller id reports folder to the input folder. Okay, so let me check if there is any file present or not. So now there is no file. So okay, so let's go here, let's use the copy file activity in the then block, and in the from I'm going to provide the path. Okay, so here I'm going to copy this path, and I'm going to paste it here inside the double quotes, and then I'm going to append this with the str file name. So in the file name, this name is going to be stored, right? So we want this file, right? So for that purpose I've used the appended the str file name, and in the destination we want to store the file in the input folder, right? So I'm going to copy this path, and I'm going to paste it in the destination. Okay, so now this is going to copy only the file which is having the current date, and I'm going to override if the file is present in the input folder. So now we have copied the file. Okay, so now our next step is to work on that excel file, right? So for that we need to use the excel activities. So let me do one thing, let me search for the excel activity, which is the excel process scope. So all these activities are the modern activities. Okay, so I'm going to use the excel process scope, and inside this excel process scope we are going to use all the excel activities. So now I'm going to use excel file activity. Okay, and then here I need to provide the path. Okay, so I'm going to provide the path which is the input folder path. I'm going to copy this path, I'm going to go to here, I'm going to paste it here. Okay, let me do one thing, I have not added the double quotes, so I'll just add the double quotes here, and I'll add the slash, and then I'm going to use the str file name, so that it is going to read only the file which is having the current date. Okay, now we need to use the read range activity. Okay, in order to read the content of the Excel file. So I'm going to use the read range. I'm going to drag and drop it here inside the do. So now we need to provide the range. Okay, so I'm going to click here. I'm going to go to Excel custom input, and then I'm going to select the sheet, and here in the worksheet name I'm going to use sheet 1. I'm going to click on save. Okay, it's last click. Okay, so now we have provided the range, and I'm going to store the output in the variable. Okay, so let me create a new variable which is data table variable, is dt caller input. Okay, in this variable the data which is present in the sheet 1 is going to be stored. So now let me do one thing. Let me copy the file manually from here and paste it in the input folder. Okay, because we have done this step, right? Copy files. So now let me open this file and let's start the working of the Excel file. Okay, so now you can see here we are having different columns such as caller ID, full name, email ID, phone number, date. Okay, so our step was to split the phone number, right? So I want to split the phone number, like the code should be present in one column and the mobile number should be present in the another column. Okay, right? So for that we need to create a new column, right, after the phone number. So in order to create a column we need to use the insert column activity. Okay, so I'm going to search for the insert column activity after the phone number. So let's search for insert column. Okay, so let me drag and drop this here. So now I need to provide the range. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me provide the range. Let me go custom input, select the sheet, sheet 1. I'm going to click on save. Click on save. So now I want to create a column after the phone number, right, which is the D1. So let me do one thing. I will select this after, and here I'm going to select the custom input, and I'm going to provide the sheet name as sheet 1, and the cell address would be D1. So we want the new column should be inserted after the phone number, which is the D1 column. So let me minimize this. I'll just click on save. Now let us provide the name of the column, which is the code. Okay, so now we have inserted the new column. Okay, so now we have inserted the new column. So let me manually insert this. So now you can see here we have inserted the column. So now I need to, so guys, now I'm going to use the fill range activity to apply the formula to split the code number from the phone number. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me just drag and drop the fill range activity. So I'll just search for fill range. Okay, I'll just drag and drop it here. So now in the where to write section, okay, so we need to provide the range. Okay, so let me just scroll it above. So now I'm going to select the Excel and then custom input, and here I'm going to select the range as the sheet 1, and in the range I have to provide the range. Okay, so let me go to the input folder and let me check the range. Okay, let me open this file. Okay, so range would be let me insert a column. So range would be from E2 to E11. Okay, so I'm going to provide the range. Let me minimize this. Range would be E2 to E11. Okay, so I'm going to click on save. Okay, why it's not clicking? Just wait a second. Okay, so now we have provided the range. Okay, so now what is the formula we want to apply? Okay, so we need to provide the formula. So let me do one thing. Let me apply the formula in the Excel file, and then we will try to copy and paste that formula with some modification. Okay, so I'm just going to write the header, which is the code, and here let us apply the formula. So formula was equal to left, then I need to select the cell and comma, then find and then I'm going to provide the hyphen in double quotes, and then again the cell which is D2, and then -1. Okay, so now this will give me the code from the phone number. So you can see the code number is provided. So let's do autofill, and now let me copy this formula to the UiPath, okay, studio. So I'm going to copy and paste this formula here. So do we need to insert this formula inside the double quotes, and also we need to add the extra double quotes which is present in the find. Okay, so here I'm going to add a double quotes, or else it is going to throw an error. Okay, so now the error would be gone. Okay, so it is going to be okay. So now you can see the error is gone. So this is going to fill the formula for all the remaining cells which is applied in the range from E2 to E11. So now we have applied the formula for the code number. So we want this formula to be applied for the phone number also, right? For mobile number, we want to get the mobile number from this phone number, right? So for that we need to insert one column, right? So let us do one thing. Let us insert a column for the mobile number. So let me go to the activities panel and search for insert column. Okay, so let me drag and drop this here. So now in the range, I'm going to select the Excel custom input. I'm going to select the sheet, which is the sheet 1. I'm going to click on save, and now I want to create a column after the code number, right? So E1. So I'm going to select after, and in the relative column we have to select the custom input, provide the sheet name, which is the sheet 1, and after we want to create a column after E1, right? So I'll just add the cell which is E1, and I'm going to click on save, and in the header I'm going to write the header as mobile number. Okay, so now we have inserted the column, okay, for the mobile number. So here there will be column called mobile number. So now let us do one thing. Let us use the fill range activity to apply the formula. Okay, so I'm going to search for fill range. Let us drag and drop this below the insert column, and here I need to provide the range like how we have provided the range for this code number. Okay, so let us do one thing. Let me go here. Let's click on the custom input. I'm going to select the range which is the sheet 1, and now the range would be from F2 to F11. Okay, F2 colon F11. I'm going to click on save. Okay, and here we have to provide the formula. Okay, so let us write the formula in the Excel file, and then we will try to copy and paste that formula with some modification. Okay, so I'm going to write the formula which is equal to write, and then I've just used the tab. Okay, so write, and then the cell which is the D2, then comma, and now I'm going to get the entire length using the length function, and then I'm going to provide the cell which is D2, then minus, I'm going to find the hyphen. So let me do one thing, find, and then tab, and then in double quotes I'm going to add the hyphen and comma, then again D2. Okay, so now this will give me the mobile number from this phone number column. So you can see the mobile number is plotted here. So let's use autofill. So now let me do one thing. Let me copy this formula here from here, and then I'm going to add it in the fill range. Okay, so here I'm going to copy and paste that formula, and we need to add the double quotes, right? Extra double quotes, or else it is going to throw an error. Okay, so now the error is gone. So now our last step is to calculate the day, right? So based on the day, so I want to calculate like when this particular person has placed the call. So on the 12th March, which was the day, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so I want to calculate the day. So for that, we need to insert a column, right? So let us do one thing. Let us insert a column like day. Okay. So here I'm going to use the insert column activity. Insert column, and let us drag and drop this here. Let me scroll a little above. So now I'm going to provide the range, which is the custom input. Let's select the sheet, which is the sheet 1, and then I'm going to click on save. I want to add a column after G1, which is the date column. Okay, G1. So here I'm going to select the range, custom input, sheet name as sheet 1, and the cell address would be G1. So I want to create a column after the G1. I'm just going to click on save, and the column header would be day. Okay, so now this is going to insert a column. So now we have inserted the column. Now our step is to apply the formula, right? So for that I'm going to use this fill range. So now I'm going to drag and drop this fill range here, and now I'm going to add the range. So I'm going to add the range, which is the sheet 1, and the range address would be H2 to H11. H2 colon H11. Okay, I'm going to click on save, and now in what to write. So here we need to apply the formula. Okay, so the formula would be equal to text, and then I'm just used tab. Now I'm going to select the cell, which is the G2, and then comma, and then I'm going to write in double quotes 4 times D to calculate the day. So now you can see the day is plotted. So for 12th March it is the Sunday. So let's plot this for each and every row. So I'll just double click on here. So now you can see all the days are plotted. So now let us write the formula, copy and use this formula in the UiPath Studio. So I just copied the formula. So now in the double quotes I'm going to add the formula here, and now I have to insert extra double quotes here. Okay, so now the error is gone. So now we have applied all the formula. So now our last step is to save the file in the output folder. So I'm going to use save Excel file as, and then I'm going to see. So here the type would be Excel, and where I want to save in output folder. So you can see here I'm having the output folder. So I'm going to copy this path from here, and then I'm going to paste it here, and then I'm going to write the file output name as final result dot xlsx. So now we have completed our automation. So now let me delete the old output file. Let me delete the input file if present. So now I'm going to delete this file. Okay, why it's action? Because file is open. Okay, the file is open. Let me close this file from here. Let me click on don't save. So now the file is deleted. So guys, now let us run the process. Okay, so let me scroll it above. So now I'm going to run this process. So I'll just click on debug. Now let's run this process. I'll just minimize this. So now the bot is under the execution. Okay, the bot is running. Let me maximize this. Scroll above. So now you can see the code column is created, and it has plotted the code, and even the mobile number is plotted properly, and now it is going to plot the day. So now our automation is completed. So guys, thanks for watching, and let's meet in some other use case. Okay, so bye guys.